Hello dearest friends and welcome back. Hei kaikille ja tervetuloa takaisin. As you can see, we are living a little bit our own rhythm, or I mean that the schedule that you have been getting is only a draft of what we are aiming to do, but we live here according to the day, and many things just may appear, so just hang along with us, and we certainly will come back. Eli meidän aikataulumme on tällä lailla suuntaa antava, eli me emme se aikataulu, jonka te olette saaneet, niin me emme pidä siitä kirveen kovaan kiinni, koska me elämme täällä tätä mysteeripäiviä, ja sen tähden me olemme sen aikataulun kanssa pikkasen auki. Mutta koittakaa kestää meitä, jos haluatte olla meidän mukanamme. I want to read yesterday from Alex from England. She was sending a message. For your information, working with you, I'm sorry that this is coming one day late. Eli tässä luen viestiä Alexilta Englannista, joka tuli jo eilen. Working with you, eli hän työskentelee kanssamme. Connected with the group, olen yhteydessä ryhmään. I was awaking at 3 a.m. here, and so now it disappeared. 5 a.m. there. Eli hän heräsi 3 siellä ja 5, mikä oli täällä. By the way, Alex, if you are there, it is 3 hours difference. No, I'm sorry. You are correct. I was talking about GMT time. Sorry. With a very strong connection. Eli hän heräsi hyvin suureen yhteyden tuntuun. Came out into the garden at sunrise. Tulin puutarhaan auringon noustessa. And will hold silence with you all day. Ja hän piti hiljaisuutta koko päivän meidän kanssamme. Open to any further. Okay, then there is something else. So Alex, we are very happy that you were working with us, and hopefully you can be connected today too. So I try to keep my mobile nearby me and check every now and then if somebody else is sending the message. You can send for us messages. Michael is almost all the time checking his emails, and I am trying to learn that too. But now we had some plan to do. By the way, I want to ask from the group, do you have anything what you would like to share? Onko teillä mitä haluaisitte jakaa tai jotain? Okay, the group is quietly smiling. They are very shy because they know that this is recorded. So let us, before we go to first initiation, the general things, I was thinking to just to address for us something which is more seldom talked about, or it is just passed through. What is the feminine aspect of initiation process? Ajattelin, että puhutaan pikkasen feminiinisestä vihkimysprosessista, joka yleensä jätetään taustalle. I'm going to say only few things in Finnish. Sanon vain muutamia asioita sitten suomeksi. But when we think about incarnations, so we have male and female incarnations. And I have been contemplating that a lot because have you, now I'm asking from the group here, have you noticed that maybe not so much today, but when you think about when you were younger, did you notice in your own countries or somewhere when you started to go towards the spiritual life that it was considered that women were supposed to be the ones who are listening the men? So have you facing that? Eli kysyin ryhmältä, että oletteko te omassa elämässänne kohdanneet sitä, että naisten tulisi kuunnella miehiä. It's very, very common. that the spirituality that it is expressed via women, it is not considered as important, as wise, or it is somehow considered little bit less. Se, mitä naisen kautta tulee, niin katsotaan yleensä, että se on vähän vähempi arvoista tai se ei ole niin viisasta tai joku muu syy. But there is certainly a kind of separation. On olemassa määrätynlainen eriävyys ja erillisyys. And it has always irritated me. Because when we think about the struggles and the driving urge within us when we try to reach divine, I think it is criminal and it is absolutely wrong. Try to take that away from women. On mielestäni täysin väärin, että naiselta otetaan pois se strive, joka naisella on kohti henkisyyttä tai jumaluutta. It is the spirit with each of us. Se on jokaisessa oleva henki. It is the spirit which urges every single human soul trying to reach the inner communion, the inner states where we are one with the real self, who we are. Now I'm just continuing in English. Nyt mä jatkan vain englanniksi ja käännän jotakin tuolla välillä suomeksi. So, do you remember those moments in your life when you had that wakening up? How demanding it is. How you cannot take that away. You cannot wash it away. And if you are continuously told or you are expressed that it is not actually real because you are a woman. And I wish that all our brothers would think about, you have been women too, but do you still remember about the earlier times? And maybe it wasn't so strong in some of our lives. This life is absolutely very strong awakening towards spiritual life. So we have these impulses coming from our soul, and we have to respond to them. That is the whole evolution is based upon that we are awakening to those impulses. And I'm sure that my husband wants to say something. I'm teasing him.
She's right.
I have to tell you, he is behind the screen and he tries to understand those nuts and patterns and doing something behind. But seriously, dearest, your Highness.
Yes, there has to be a balance, absolutely. And Master Moria, interesting, as such a first-rate master, he basically is the one who emphasizes that women are bringing in the New Age. And if you really look at it, Blavatsky, Bailey, Rurik, and others have been the major amanuenses for the messages and the teaching from hierarchy. So Libra is rising in the planetary horoscope. It's a balance between the male and the female. It's absolutely required that there be a respectful balance. No extremes in this. There has to be a fusion between the polarities, and that represents the fusion between soul and personality, with naturally the woman representing the soul. Okay, that's Andromeda for you, and we'll be getting into it.
Yes, tomorrow.
Are my words acceptable, dear?
Yes, very good.
All right,
Is he not very good?
I'm trained. Okay.
So, when we think about this situation in the West and situation in the East we still have this understanding, or we are considering that there are these two kinds of streams, the male and female, and they have particular expression in life. And in here in the West, I don't know, did it happen then after Jesus, when the church fathers started to gather together, that has been causing a huge dilemma here in the West. In the time of Jesus, according to the new investigations, and how strong role Maria Magdalene had, and of course Mary, the mother of the Christ, and other Marys, other women, it looks like that time also it wasn't so difficult. But now somehow during these centuries it was going out of balance and out of understanding, and we will see for a while what Padmasambhava has said about the situation. But anyway, so we emphasize in our Blue Rose, the name is Blue Rose Sisterhood, and that was the original impulse to gather women together. But we have brothers, Shiva brothers, and also we have to think about shall we just call us a Blue Rose group, but we will talk about later. So in our group we are trying to support and strengthen women to take their stand, because it is so important that women are taking their stand and start to work according to the soul, what they have, we have, and bring forth the impulse. And we have to learn to listen each other, that even though the language is not the same, when women are talking, we are talking much more closer to the practical level, and there are many insights which are related directly to the life lived. Eli kun naisessa syntyy tuo henkisyyden ilmaus, se on hyvin lähellä käytännön elämää ja käytännön asioita. And I think that is one of the reasons that when it is said very simple ways, essentially what is supposed to be concentrated upon, then we are not looking that it is high enough, or I don't know what is the reason behind. But we will start our contemplation about the feminine path is thinking about these two sisters in the sky, and they are Isis and Nephthys, Sirius B and Sirius A. We know that the star of Sirius is called the star of initiation, and she is like behind all of these impulses. Sirius A is the great magician, and she was the one who was able to discover the name of Ra, the sun, which means that whenever you know the name of any entity, you know the power of that entity. And when we think about this solar system and Isis, so Isis has very particular role. She was the only one of them who knew the name of Ra, so then it means that she knew the power of Ra. And she was the one who was able to cure the Ra, the god Ra, because he was poisoned by the serpent, and that's why he was dying. So it indicates about this problem in our solar system, that we are having the internal fight with the poison, which is coming from the past, and Isis, Sirius, is the solution. We know that also from our teaching, but this is in Egyptian myths already. So this ancient wisdom, as we call it, is about ageless wisdom. And then Sirius B is the directive forces. The Sirius B, Nephthys, the sister of Isis, is the one of the indicators when the exact initiation is starting. Then the eye appears. And if you think about how much it is talked about the eye in our teaching, Sirius B is that great eye. She is called the eye, and Isis is called the enthroned one, or the one upon the throne. So when we were having our meditation, when we went into the Leo energies, we had this point of the one angel, which is called the Archangel Ariel, Lion of God. So we will a little bit focus upon that, because with this lion face, in my opinion, we have some mystery revealed of the solar angels. When you study the lion and the serpent connections, you see, in my opinion, everything what is told about serpents, the serpent wisdom, we are then studying the wisdom of solar angels, some parts of them. And you remember that in Druid tradition, the initiates were called serpents. So the serpent, having this power, or the poison, is about the fire which is not yet in our system built the way that we can take that higher power, that higher fire. And when the initiate, like Shiva, is the representative of high states, Shiva can drink the poison, because he has already within his system, in his embodiment, he has all these faculties built that this fire can be taken in. In the Christian tradition, there are those moments for the saints when they are alone with the God, and they are supposed to take the real Dharma. They are supposed to drink the serpent poison. And that was when they were drinking the serpent poison, then that was the indicator of that they were with the God, as it was expressed. It's the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit is continuously bringing forth these fiery essences, and they are appearing as flames, as you know. So the Lion of God is one of these great angels. And when we study this lion appearance, we study also the pathway of the solar angels. The highest plane, we don't have any slides, sorry for that. But when you think about the cosmic physical plane, the highest plane is ruled by Leo. So this lion face, the life-giving force, when we go further, you will see it's really interesting to look how the old mythology is telling about some very deep secrets about the solar angel. And when we talk about angels, we can always say something about this feminine path, because the angel is the feminine kingdom. And this feminine kingdom is helping us, and it is very strongly related to the birth of humanity. Did you change the slide, Michael? Okay. So following now this lion face, and I want to add also one thing, which is in the time of ancient Greek. There appeared, and this is coming from Egypt as well, when you see a lion face, behind that is very often describe the sun. And then the body is the serpent. Do you remember seeing this kind of? Right. That is Ya Ego, I am. And this I am Ya Ego is related to the solar angels. The first initiation of humanity when human being was individualized. And that is, I want to point out all the time that this is about the feminine part. When we are individualized, when this lower part is taken into the wings or under the guidance of the inner powers to go back home. So here we have one entity, deity, goddess from Egypt mythology. So who is she? Do you remember the name of her? So, do you remember? Muistatteko mikä nimi tällä on? Yes, Michael.
Is this Sekhmet?
This is Sekhmet. Yes, Sekhmet. And she has the other name also, Tefnut. Tefnut, who is translated, or which is translated, the water. So from the sun, Ra had two children, Tefnut and what was was it Shu? Tefnut and Shu. So the other one is air and the other one is water. And goddess lion, Sekhmet, is the water part, which is very interesting. She's very fiery. She is called the mighty, the power. But still in her inner aspect of the sun, she is water. So it is considered in the Egyptian myth that the sun has water and air part in her, in him, in her, him. Who knows which way? But anyway, Sekhmet, and you see the rouse, the serpent, in the form of coming out from the, it should come from the forehead, because that is the risen Kundalini power. Or, which is the correct way of saying, it's not the risen power, it's the power which is brought into the system. So Sekhmet is that part of the sun which is pouring the energy from the sun. Like the solar angels were descending. So they are the serpents. They are the, how they were called, the life on the highest plane, the living flames.
Divine flames.
Divine flames, and was there also the other one was, there were a few names for that.
Okay, let me just quickly take a look.
But this part is bringing the life. And there are many parts or images in iconography of Egypt that you see a human face or lips, and upon the lips there are the lips of the lion. And that is that the Sekhmet is giving the life force, is breathing forth the life force, yes?
Yes, it's divine flames and divine lives.
Oh, divine lives, okay. So anyway, this is indicating us that this Leonian time, when you think about now we are living the month of Leo, so it is related to that part how the women, the feminine part, is giving the life. Sekhmet is breathing in into the nostrils of a human entity, the living life, which is the spirit. It's not the life which is circulated on earth. It's the divine life. So when we really want to use this sacred year or the holy year during the month of Leo, we should go into those holy places within us that we are really, really trying to connect with the divine life. It is empowering. That's why Sekhmet is said the power and the might. The story goes the same way. This seems to be, when we study this feminine aspect of divinity, it looks like that the feminine power is the root power of existence, which is destroying. It goes out of rage when something is not nice, not in order, is out of the law. The feminine power comes and destroys. So this is seen, and it is a huge protector as well. So that is seen in mothers when something happens to the kids and to the children. We see that in animal kingdom, that the furious mothers or whatever animal comes out if the babies are in danger. And in Kali, which is looked in Hinduism, in Hindu tradition, the Kali is the root power. So is Sekhmet. So are those Dakini forces. We will look them as well. So Sekhmet was held by Ra. She actually has to be put in kind of coma, because Ra was sending Sekhmet to earth to look the children of earth how they were doing. And Sekhmet, as in other mythologies as well, the same story repeats itself. The children were not living according to the law. And she got so furious that she just started rampantly to kill whatever she was seeing. And she was ripping a part of all of them and rising. Now the whole humanity is in danger, because there is not going to be anybody left, because nobody was following the law, and Sekhmet would kill. That's why Ra came and he was masking himself as a human being, and he was offering to Sekhmet what are those fruits? Viinirypäle. What is viinirypäle in English? This that from which you'd make wine.
Grapes.
Grapes, yes. They were fermented grapes. And she was eating and she got drunken and she fell asleep. The same way in the story of Shiva, when Kali was looking upon the children of earth and they were out of the law and they were doing evil deeds, so that's why Kali got so furious that she started to kill. That's why Kali has those skulls around her, which are indicating about the killing the evil, but the skull is also the symbol of the abode of the soul. And that's why Shiva has to come, and that's why Kali is jumping over Shiva, because Shiva is tempting these fiery, these primordial, furious energy. So it's about Kanji. Kanji is the huge Shakti power from the cosmos, and that's why Shiva had to come again. The Kanji, the river Kanji, she was pouring into the waters into earth, so that all humanity was drowning. So that's why Shiva had to come to save the humanity, so that the only little stream from his head is allowed to come to humanity. That's the amount the humanity can take it. So there is something in, when we think about the whole cosmos, there is this feminine power, which we call Shakti, which is very powerful. And it can somehow pour directly to humanity. It has to be tempted by the will. Tempered. Yeah. Tempered. Right, sorry. Tempered by the will. The same way in the story of Sekhmet. So it looks like that when we think about solar angels, so they cannot release their full power. That has to be tempered as well. So now we have another image of Sekhmet. You see that she is sitting on the throne, which is the symbol of initiation. And look that this throne, look carefully, the throne has a doorway. Do you see on the left corner? It is not seeing. Anyway, you see, and do you see this is an old image where is Osiris, and behind him there is Sekhmet, blessing, so guarding Osiris. Osiris is we can say the initiate, we can say human being, but initiate, who is sitting on the throne. But look the structure on this left corner. You see this energy moving there? Do you see that? On the left, the right image. Do you have the correct one, Michael?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's a very old image.
Right. So you on the left corner of that right image, or the left corner of the throne upon which Osiris is sitting. So you see there is drawn something. So it is indicating these circulation energies. So the Sekhmet is behind that, the same way when we think about the feminine part and a feminine pathway, is protecting these energies. When we go into the symbolism in the Hinduism, we have Durga, which is the pre-modern mother, powerful mother. She is the wife of Shiva, and she is always in divine meditation. But the feminine part of these gods, they are like the active part of this. It is meant that when we have the feminine incarnation, we have to be active on earth. We have to be active on this physical plane. That's why women are giving the birth. We will bring forth the life. That belongs to this feminine aspect. Durga is continuously sending forth the prayers and of guidance. So if you look some traditions, there has been in all of those old traditions that the old women have been those from whom people went to ask guidance. And that is about the wisdom aspect. Also, Durga has 40 hymns which are telling that this feminine influence, or the influence of the solar angels, as I translate it, starts from the third monadic plane downwards. If you count the planes, subplanes, the 40th plane would come from below on the third subplane or monadic plane.
So it's subplane.
Yes, subplanes.
So it's the 39th.
If you count, yes.
39th subplane.
From below.
Okay, you count 39 up to the
49. We have. Right. So the 40th, 40 is related to the Durga, which is the pre-modern mother. And when you count 40 from below, it is coming the third plane of monadic plane, third subplane of the monadic plane. So in my understanding, from third plane, from the monadic plane downwards, are the areas of this Shakti energy, the motherly or feminine energy, which is influencing. And he was, yes, to show that, yes. I should have been thinking that. I'm sorry. We have to show that afterwards. And we have now the system that we can only send for the PowerPoint. Is it so, Michael?
Well, we can send everything.
Oh.
Everything, but it's not quite easy to do it.
Uh-huh.
It can be done.
Oh, that can be done. But anyway, we are learning these new techniques here. So try to just imagine that there are 49 subplanes, sub-subplanes of the cosmic physical plane, 7 subplanes, and within them, in each of them are 7, and when you count 7 times 7, it comes 49 subplanes. And Durga, the feminine energy and power, has 40 hymns, which tells about that how the powers are related to these 40 planes. So she has 3 eyes, which are telling about this, able to look into the past, the future, and the present. Also, it is said that this left eye, which is always related to the moon, and the right eye is always related to the sun. So we have the hieros gamos. Human being is supposed to bring forth these 2 energies, Ida and Pingala, into Sushumna, the central point, which is the central eye here. And do you see, it is not horizontally the eye. The eye of the synthetic eye is vertical. So the verticality comes from that when this the real divine marriage happens. Hieros gamos within us, so left and right is connected. So then comes the 3rd eye of fire, and it is symbol of the all knowledge. All knowledge. And that is also very interesting when we think about the evolution of senses. Then all knowledge is the highest told states what is related to our form-based senses. There are senses which are formless based, but these 5 senses that we have, they are related to the perfected man, 5-pointed star. So these 5 senses are related to the form and form building and releasing us from the form, the both ways, first into manifestation, then out of manifestation. And we end up on the atomic plane. On the 3rd sub-plane of the atomic plane is all knowledge. And it is related to certain sense, which is smell. The highest expression of smell is the all knowledge. And the vertical eye is called all knowledge.
You know, if I could just say that the number 5 is the Brahma number. Okay?
Right.
So that was the number of the previous solar system. So this very thing that is so related to 3, which is a very important feminine number, is related to 5. 5 planes from below, and the 5th subplane. So it is Brahma, and what is it? Kether, Chokhmah, and Bina in the Kabbalah.
Right.
So Bina is the feminine,
right,
and is related to the 3, and in this case to the 5.
Right.
Yeah.
So and here we see the reason why sometimes you see some images where we have triangle here on the forehead. It tells about this sacred union with the moon and the sun, and then from that comes this all knowledge. I was just thinking, when we study about sounding, the sounding forth, even though it is the spirit which is sounding, but all this, when it is coming to the word, that is related to the feminine. And in the evolution of AUM, I should have this image for you, but anyway, if you think A is creating the world, it goes down to U, which is about Vishnu aspect. A is Shiva aspect. you is Vishnu aspect, but Vishnu is responsible, or Vishnu is the responsible of 5 worlds. So via Vishnu comes the 5. Via the consciousness aspect comes out the 5 worlds. Then Brahma sounds the M. But if you the correct way of saying is Brahm. If you look, Shiva ends with A, Vishnu ends with U, Brahm ends with M, but because it's Brahma, do you know the reason why we have to say Brahma? The same reason as I was telling about, there is too much power. The Shiva has to temper the power of Brahma. And then Brahma, via her comes these 7 planes. It's very complicated to study that, how the sound travels, and we humans are so linear. We have to have that like in order, in horizontal way, but in the factual manifestation, it's the vertical way, and then that's why the order of linear may not be the linear. If you think about AUM, we say AUM because that is the order, but from U comes 5, from M comes 7. And in that sense, for our mind, it is complicated to understand, and we have to study about this. Right. So anyway, now when we go to the Durga and her expression of feminine, divine, is that she is the form of 9 forms. She expresses 9 forms. And what this 9 is telling to you? So what did you? Universal? What would you say, that 9? What this 9 brings for you? What does it symbolizes? Completion? And Michael?
Well, the 9 initiations, but one great way to remember this is the feminine.
That's right.
Feminine. Yeah. Test, yeah.
You are not saying anything more?
No.
Oh. I'm very disappointed. But anyway, so the forms of Durga. So let us, I have only 15 minutes, so let us just close our eyes and remind ourselves about the forms, because they are very revealing, which these 9 forms of Durga are covering. So one is called Sailaputri, the daughter of the Himalayas. So what does it bring for you? Daughter of the Himalayas. Himalayas, the highest mountains. And the new, which is born via the Himalayas, they are still rising. Then Brahmacharini, following celibacy. What does it mean when we are spiritually understanding celibacy? It is some kind of idea of the feminine, the goddesses, the higher feminine initiates, that they are all virgins. What does it mean to be virgin? Brahmacharini. Right. And there is, when we the menstruation cycle in feminine body is about the symbolism of purification, constant purification. That is something what is related to when we understand that spiritually, that we are not bound to all crazy ideas which are put forth by men. I'm sorry, brothers, but very seldom these ideas are coming from women. So then Chandra Kanta, having the moon on her necklace. Chandra Kanta. Why does she has the moon on her neck or necklace? Necklaces are very often also indicating some message that what we carry the power of that. It's also, one sense, the symbol of the victory over the moon, over the past. Kushmanda, being the creator of the universe. Kushmanda. So now we will go to huge cosmology. Then Skanda Mata. Mata is always mother. The mother of Skanda, Kartikeya, born out of her powers. And we should study these entities, of course. The Great Mother. And we have her 10 hands, which are telling about completion as well. All of them have the symbols. I didn't collect this symbolism, but it is interesting to study about the control powers. You see, one of them is this lotus. So she is one of those who is guarding or nurturing the souls. You have the Shiva universe in her forefinger, the creator of the universe. You have the fire. 2 kinds of pots. And then she has the all knowledge, the book. Then Katyayani, the daughter of sage Katyayana. Katyayana related to Shiva. But then Kalaratri, destroyer of Kali. And that is what is messing us very often, is that the Kali is also a demon, one of the evil forces, and Kali, the mother Kali, they have the same name. And that is very often when we study the solar angels, that how the solar angels as makaras, as crocodiles, hide themselves into the evil form. But their methods are about redeeming via that evil form, the evil substance. They are like agents spying us in the similar forms that we are in order to be able to function. So Kali is like taking that kind of form in that lower worlds in order to redeem and destroy the evil. Then we have Maha Gauri, the wife of Lord Shiva. So she is expressing the aspect of Shiva, the active aspect of Shiva. Or when you think about the head is having the plan or thinking something to be done, then feminine part is that what is bringing that into manifestation. And Siddhidatri, blessing cities and mystic powers. She is the source of those mystic powers. So Mother is the source of feminine, is the source of the mystic powers. By this activity of Shakti, these mystic powers, what spiritual powers that everybody tries to get are based upon this, how the divine is expressing itself in the matter and is storing them in oneself. Well, then we quickly look the Dakinis, the same way like that we have the both fiery essence. We have then, when we think about Dakini, and I think in Dakini tradition we have the very, very clearly the connection with the solar angels. Because they are called the sky dancers. They are called the sky goers. What was the other one related to sky? But then one of them is the carrier, the ones who are carrying the souls of the dead to the sky. So when you think about how solar angels are redeeming us, so they are in one point in the fourth initiation, it is looked like officially that then Horus is getting the wings and Horus is flying back to the sun in fourth initiation. So Dakini has this same kind of symbolism, and this the Dakinis are always the ones who are guarding. They and if you look about that, that's very carefully like that. You have this the throne or the sculpture, the wrought. You have these heads there, like Kali is carrying the heads, and these are the different cities. You can think about sitting different powers, spiritual powers. She has also those skulls as her throne, the abodes of the soul, and she has the teeth of an animal. Look at the teeth. Maybe on the second one. Look at that.
15 seconds. Make it big.
So you see that the teeth are, and very often they have very long nails, like animals. So we can find very many symbolic meanings, but it is in the form of animal, because we are still animals. Human beings are still animals, and they are the fiery expression of the form. When you have that, they get the fiery expression of the form is very, very how do we call this, monster kind. When they appear, people are afraid. They are the guardians. They are standing there, guarding the truth, guarding the real teaching. They are not letting people to come nearby. And there are two kinds of Dakinis. There is the Dakini which is related to earth. It's a worldly Dakini. And then, interestingly, here you see this lion head face Dakini. Simba Vaktra, and she is the Dakini which is related to wisdom. So these are the great wisdom Dakinis, like Taras are, the Vaira Yogini, and all of those. And then we have even better image here, Michael. And it's interesting that do you see this dancing position? That they are able to stand in one leg. They have always mudras, and even though they look horrible and very you know, devil kind of thing. You see the fiery head and the dancing aspect, dancing Shiva. So it is the first ray aspect of feminine, which is the dancer, and dancing the Dharma into the ground. It is said that Dakinis are associated with spaciousness. Therefore, they have the ability to give birth to limitless prospects of enlightened activities, which can be grouped into 4: pacifying activity, enriching activity, magnetizing activity, and destroying activity. So Dakinis are embodying the union of emptiness and wisdom. So when you study this, so Dakini, the feminine, is between things. The solar angels are between. They are making the bridges. They are connecting. So that's why if you think about how women are acting, women are very often trying to bring the harmony, trying to calm the kids, squirreling kids, fighting kids, or fighting people. This is something about them, like very naturally born in feminine, which does not want to have separation, wants to bring everything together. So, and then it is said this that the state of awareness in Dakini, which is under control, stable, and yet free, like solar angels for us. They are those parts that they are in full control, but they are trying to set us free. So that Dakini power tries to and has the ability to the potentials to realize the wisdom. The presence of a solar angel is about that. It is trying us to realize the wisdom, realize what this life is all about, the principles and the nature within oneself. So the same way we see in Dakini, that is the same way in solar angels. So Padmasambhava was the one who was bringing the Buddhism into Tibet, or it is said that he is the father of the Buddhism. And he said, whether male or female, there is no great difference. But if a woman develops the mind of enlightenment, her potential is supreme. And he had 3 wives. And one of the highest wife was the Tibetan wife, Yekosil. I always forget this name. When we were with our group in Tibet, we were on that valley, which is said that there the first wife, got her enlightenment. And when the women are enlightened, the healing power starts to flow. So in that, the valley was also called Healing Valley, and there still was a little monastery on the top of the mountain, and we walked there, very tiny monastery. There was the holy river coming out, or stream coming out from the ground, which was said that the healing, empowering water. Very often, if you remember, we started with Shekmet, Tefnut, the water. So everywhere the water is somehow the essence that we are seeking, the healing, eternal life force. And so this valley was wonderful in that sense. We were guided there because we were not allowed to go to Kailash. It was stopped from us. Then we wanted to go to the turquoise lake, what was called the Vision Lake. No, we were addressed to that healing valley of Yegoshil. Yes.
And Glenn gave to us up in monastery where health mantra Om Amaram Dvataya Soha.
Okay, Eha, come here. No, yes, you have to come because I cannot repeat that. Come here. Yeah, come here. You don't have to sound it, you can just say it. Now we call here the healing mantra on the high mountains in the healing valley in that monastery of the enlightened wife of Padmasambhava. And Eha is going to tell us. Okay.
Om Amarani Divantaye Soha. But this is very difficult to say. It seems that Soha always like cut. And then one Buddhist monk taught to me that say, Om Amarani Divantaye, Om Amarani Divantaye, Om Amarani Divantaye. Then it starts to rolling. And when you finish, then to the end you say this Soha.
Right. Now you got very important feminine teaching. And we will take that mantra today when we have the meditation of the related to first initiation. So quickly now, we are over the time, but Michael, skip the next one and then come to this image, which is about the feminine pathway. You have it. Here we have, do you have it? So here we have Mary and the Christ. And you see the sun disk behind. Always sun is related when we talk about feminine path. Always. It appears this kind of hole, the disk, through which the entrance is coming and the go within is happening. Always the disk, the blue disk what DK is talking about, the sun disk. The sun disk is on the top of Sekhmet, always telling about these powers that which can empower you to go beyond. And this is also related to the name. Remember that Isis is the one who is able to reveal the name. So when we are talking about the initiation, we are talking about revealing the name. It's the secrecy of and the myth of Isis. And I know that it is so much overlooked. I have not been seeing that in only Egyptians were talking about that, about the name. But in the East there is the deity yoga, and that is about the same, to become, identify oneself with the deity. When you identify, when you really manage to do that, and that is about the Leo work, lioness work as well. When you say the name, when you are able to really identify, then you are able to name that name in the way that you will bring that life force into the lower worlds. And this is a deep, deep secret, which is overlooked. So that's why I think what I was just saying. So this crowning of Mary is about where we are ending in the fourth initiation. I just go through this very quickly. When we are supposed to look at this kind of energies affecting the feminine path is about that, the practical occultism, that you know exact times when to act certain ways. So when we are in the second decanate, the part of the third decanate of Libra, which is about the crown, then we should be really aligning with this whole process of crowning Mary. We can build into our days, into our work, these the steps towards that fourth initiation, great time of contemplating. So much more should be said. Michael, do you want to add something about this idea?
I think not much, but I think it is a relationship somehow between Earth as Mary and the Sun as the Sun. Solar Logos and the Earth.
That's
if
right.
you want to take it a little, yeah.
Yeah, and do you must remember then the symbolism. One of the oldest symbols found on Earth, Vergina Sol, which is about this union between Mary and the Sun. Mary and the sun, which is shining on the sky. Sun as the child, and sun as this what is shining on the sky. Vergina Sol. That's why imagine these symbols whenever you can, so that go more and deeper into that mystery, this process, what is taking us out. I have another image, what I'm not going to go now, what I was thinking to talk, it is just something what is happening, what is said to happen, that one of the statues of Mary is again crying. But about the first initiation, we are going to that first initiation very soon, and when we talk about the first initiation, we have to remember Virgo, which is one of the great signs and one of the only human signs. The symbol where is human. When you think about 12 zodiac signs, there is Aquarius, which is human. Then there are the kids, which are the twins, and notice they are twins, not only one. So there is the daughter on the other side and the son on this side, and then mother. So Aquarius the father, Virgo as the mother, and then the twins. They are the only real human signs. But then Sagittarius is like in the moving because of the centaur. And then when we have this mystery of the first initiation, the most important initiation in that sense, that then we are putting our leg first time on the crown of the kingdom of souls, kingdom of God. It is still the threshold. That's why when you think about the threshold within us, the legs, the Piscean things, we are ending what was in the past. We try to fulfill that, and then we step into the threshold of the first initiation, which is the birth in the heart. The Christ is born in us, in the matter, and Virgo is that sign which is revealing for us a lot about that, and that is something very, very deeply rooted into the feminine initiation process. So we will talk about more and much more academic way when Michael will come into the how do you say, voice? Can I say it this way, in voice? And but just one question: is there any questions? Something to add or something? No. Our group is very quiet. They are just smiling nicely. So, Michael, you have something?
No. We'll go on.
You don't?
Not right now, no.
Okay, so we will continue. Our schedule said, 15 past 11 we should continue. So we will, around that time we will come back. So please come back with us 11:15 in Finnish time and 7:15, 8 GMT. So hear you soon. Thank you.